But I can identify because, you know, God rest the dead, I, you know, had struggled with my relationship with my father. You know, my father wasn't an absentee father, but he was one of those fathers that would be, you know, in the home, but as far as emotionally being attached to his children, he wasn't.
You can be there but not be there.
Right.
Exactly.
And the thing was, I did not understand that when I was growing up because, you know, I would always see, you know, friends of mine whose fathers was, you know, involved in their life come to their games, you know, give them support, things like that. But I didn't understand it until I met his father, and I seen where he got it from.
Right.
But as a man with my own family, when I moved on and I did some growing in, you know, in my walk in life, I came to realize, like what you were trying to tell the brother, they're not going to understand it because they did the best they knew how.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to appreciate them for the good that they did give you. And I learned to do that. I learned to forgive my father, you know, and we had a very serious talk before he passed away.
And that discussion is important. I did the same with my mother prior to her passing, and I encourage anyone, if you've got unresolved issues with your parents, as we talk about getting relationships right and improving relationships for the next generation, you have got to heal those wounds because you carry that hurt into other relationships, whether you know it or not.
And like that brother, you know, I carried mine around for years, and it affected some of the decisions that I made in life. It really did, because you know, I was striving to be an NBA player and everything. I was in college, you know, and I even chose to go to, you know, college in North Carolina where my father was from.
Trying to make that connection.
And, you know, I was trying to make that connection. I was like thinking maybe, you know, he'll come down and support me now because I'm in, you know, his home state. But that didn't happen. Right. You know, like I said, he thought that as long as he was providing, you know, working hard and paying the bills and providing you with a roof, some clothes and food in your stomach, that, hey, I'm doing the best I can, man.
Now here's the deal, and thank you for listening, thank you for calling, Eric. But here's the deal, Thomas. It's not just about that one father or that one mother. It's about that interdependence that we have on each other, and that's what your book speaks to. So, you know, in closing, talk to us about the importance of depending on each other, where, you know, if there's a breakdown with her, she needs that brother to bring her up. If there's a breakdown with him, he needs that sister to bring him up.
And a lot of times, that's a direct effect. Do you know that people spend more time screening the type of cell phone plan that they're going to go into than the person that they're actually going to lay down with?
Unbelievable.
And the person that they're in a relationship
Unbelievable.
with.
And you can look at the increase in rates of HIV and AIDS within African American women that gives you those facts.
Right. Right. And I mean, you know, you deal with a person, you can't tell who you're dealing with off of the first week, 2 weeks, month of the relationship.
And by then we've already made a physical bond.
Exactly. And that's where the largest problem is right there. That's our largest problem. We have to, I think I said this the last time when we were in the show, we have to take the relationship stage, the friendship stage of the relationship, we have to take that slower. Because if we don't take that slower, we're going to continue to make the same mistakes and keep on going into the same things every time, because it's like we jump right into relationships before we even know who we're dealing with on a friendship level, before we even know if we can get along together. And then you're into this relationship, the person gets pregnant, then somebody's taking a hike. They're gone.
There you go.
You know, and then it's like, you're like, I don't know what I did to him. I don't know what I did to change him. You didn't do anything to change him. That's the same brother he was when he came through the door.
You just didn't know.
You know what I'm saying? You just
Yeah.
didn't know it because you didn't take the time out to find out. And you have to take that time out. Slow down, pay attention to who you're dealing with, and then that way you'll know if you got better chances of this relationship lasting longer. Is he a guy that's going to stick in this relationship and raise his kids, or is he going to be a guy as soon as times get tough, he's going to hit the road? Yeah.
But the secondary issue, actually be primary for me, is the fact that women of color are especially affected by HIV and AIDS. And talking about startling statistics, the leading cause of death for black women including, and this is directly from the CDC, including African American women aged 25 to 34, is HIV, AIDS. The third leading cause of death for black women aged 35 to 44, fourth leading 45 to 54, and fourth leading 35 to 44 for Hispanic women. Women of color need to slow it down. Stop laying down with these men until you know their character and whether or not they are someone you would have children with to raise and form a family with. But we need to set our standards higher. We have got to make some changes in our thinking.
And if I could say something, if you look at it, especially in our neighborhoods, what's targeted in our neighborhoods, sex sells to sell alcohol, sex sells to sell automobiles, it sells to sell cigarettes, sex,
rice.
You know, and then our music. I keep going back to this because this is a key factor. You know what I'm saying? And our music is sold through sex.
Yeah.
So our young women see there's an importance of sex in the picture in order to be accepted. So our young women come along and then they dress provocatively so that they sell sex as well to be accepted. And this is something, when we get this out of the picture, we make sex the key element of everything in life right now. And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't exclude our young women when it comes to relationships. And that's just the bottom line. That's why they have sex so quick.
And last week I asked the question, didn't get many calls, on the breakdown of morals and character in the society. You know, have we lost the social war? And you know, I believe from a Christian standpoint, we have got to begin to stand up at Christians, set some standards, and stop believing the hype. We have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on the Marian Network Show. Talk to me.
Hi, yes, I just wanted to make a comment. First off, I think the topic that you guys are talking about is wonderful. These are some of the issues that need to be talked about and addressed, especially in the African American community.
Yeah, and we don't do it enough.
No, we don't. And I believe what the man was saying. I'm sorry, I don't mean to address you as the man, but I didn't catch your name.
Thomas Ware.
Okay. What he was saying is very important, because I think over the years, as being an African American woman, we've been pictured as a sex symbol.
Right. And we've allowed it, though. But they've not done anything we've not allowed them to do.
Exactly. And I think the level of thinking as an African American woman needs to definitely come higher, because we're not just dipped in thighs, you know, and the Bible says that we were, men and women, were fearfully and wonderfully made.
There you go.
And if we just submit ourselves to the power of God and not be transformed by this world that we live in, this society that we live in, I think it could make a great difference as far as parenting. You have so many parents and fathers not in the home, like you guys were talking about earlier, and it brings up a void. I know, as being a young woman, my father, my mother, they were into their own thing.
Yeah.
They really didn't pay attention to me. They were doing drugs or doing whatever they do. And it did have an effect on me as I grew older and choosing a mate. I found myself trying to fill a void.
Yeah.
And I gave myself to these men that really are nothing, but I give God all the glory and I give him all the praise for calling me onto him and changing my life and transforming my mind to be a better parent, because I am a single mother and I have 2 sons that I have to raise. And it does get tough. It does get hard. The statistics that you gave earlier about the homes of the fathers not being in the home, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
we have to talk about it, but we've got to be willing to do something about it. So we thank you for your testimony, but most importantly for doing something about it so that you can change the lives and set a standard for your boys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
And one of the things I want to say is, when people realize who they are and how valuable they are, they don't give away the gift so quickly.